Hey everyone, welcome and thanks for joining me today. Griff Hamlin here. Today we're going to talk about what I would consider a standard classic comping pattern. What I mean by a comping pattern is a way that you can play some simple chords along with a band. Now this would be if someone is singing, there's somebody singing, or somebody else taking a solo. You are accompanying. Comping is a common word for it in the jazz and blues world. So let's look at the basic chords that I'm using, the basic rhythm pattern that I'm using, and I'll show you how it all goes together. Let's check it out. Now the chords I'm using, I'm in A for this example. So if you can imagine, basic A7. Well, with the band, I don't want to play all that. I just want to play what I call a little chord. So I'm just going to play the second, third, and fourth strings. Okay, and so in order to achieve that, I'm going to use my pick and my middle and my ring finger all on my right hand. Now another option would be to sort of get rid of the pick and maybe use your thumb and index and ring finger, or index and middle. But the reason that I do this is because if I use my pick, that's a very different sound. I like the chords to kind of pop. Now either one is okay, but you can hear that they are different, okay? So I'm going to use that chord. The next chord that I'm going to use is a D9, okay? But I'm not going to play all that again because there's a band going on. I don't want the low end. So again, I'm just going to use the second, third, and fourth strings. Okay, so I have a finger on the 5th fret of the second and third strings and the 4th fret of the 4th string. This one, by the way, was 5th fret on the 2nd string, 6th fret on the 3rd, 5th fret on the 4th. So that's my A7, that's my D9, back to A7, E9, well, that's D9 up 2 frets, so 7, 7, 6. And the only other thing that you're going to see happen is what I call the blues half step, where I approach the chord from a half step away. Now, this is a good example here of something that you'll see me do. It looks like I'm playing the whole chord, but I'm not. If you watch my right hand, you'll see that I'm only plucking the strings that I want. That would ring out if I plucked it. That one wouldn't because I'm not actually pushing down with that middle finger. But because I'm plucking and not strumming, I get exactly the notes that I want. So even if I've got fingers just sort of hanging out, my middle finger's just hanging out there. It's not hurting anything. It's just sitting there. Okay, so once you've got the 3 chords involved, and of course I could do this in any key. If you slide them all down 2 frets, you're in the key of G. If you slide them all up 2 frets, you're in the key of B. Go up another one, you're in C. Take your pick. It doesn't really matter. It's all the same. Okay. Once I have that, I need to put them into some sort of rhythmic pattern. And this brings up the C word, counting. But yes, you have to count, right? If you don't know when to play it, it doesn't work out. I can give you the chords all day long, but you have to know when to play them. Because if you think about it, I mean, you don't want to just go and just, kind of bang away on them. We want to have something that's nice. And we want to have something that doesn't get in the way, okay? So one of the most classic and common rhythms that works really well is to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's just a couple of little hits. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Now, assuming it's a quick change and my second measure is the 4 chord, but let's keep it all on the 1 chord because it's a 2 measure pattern. So in the first measure, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a. So I've got that little half step slide. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2. Try it with me. 3, 4, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Now we go to the 4 chord, right? No big deal. 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3. Back to the 1 chord. 1, a 2, 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, up to the 5 chord, 1, a 2, and 3. Finish it on the 4 chord because there's a change, and then we're back to the 1 chord. One thing I would suggest is on the 5 chord, just play the first half again. 1, a 2, a 3. And I say that because the 5 chord, when you're at a jam, you never know exactly what's going to happen there. You will after the first couple of passes. But the 5 chord, that last bar of a 12-bar blues, there's some funky things that can go on. It's best to just hang back a little bit. And by not playing on beat 1, you're hanging back a little bit. And that way you kind of get a better feel for what's actually going to go on. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using that same 2-measure long pattern. I'm using it every time except the last 2 bars. I'm just using the first measure twice. Okay, so let me walk you through it one time. Here we go. And I'm going to do this with a quick change this time. So that means I'll have 1 chord and 4 chords. So my first time through the pattern, 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 1, a 2, 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and 1, a 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 1, a 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and again, and it would start over. And it could go really fast. You know, if you're playing like a jump blues, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Totally still works. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Now, I have my little Digitech Trio down here is making my backup band today. So let me play it over the track, the little trio. It's a computerized backup band. It's questionable at best, but it's what I had handy and it works out just fine. But let me just play it just so you can hear what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it. It works great, okay? And again, this could work over a ton of different tunes. Anything that's in a shuffle. I mean, you could be playing I'm Tore Down. You could be playing Key to the Highway. It's an 8-bar blues, but the pattern will still work. You could be playing Sweet Home Chicago. You know, you could do this in E. And it works just fine. It'll work in any key, over any shuffle. There's like 7,000 songs you can play with this. And I always make the joke, like when I'm playing with my band on stage, you know, and I realize that, you know, it's the 3rd set or it's the 4th set, and I've been playing for 3.5 hours, and 80% of the time, this is what I've played while the keyboard player is soloing or while I'm singing. Every time we do a shuffle, which is a lot of tunes, this works. It just works. So we use it all the time. All right. So I hope you got how that goes, and I hope you can play along with me and play along with jam tracks that you might have, or even better yet, play along with a band. All right. So have fun with it, and I look forward to seeing you soon.